Now, everyone, it's time to spread a bit of movie cheer.
Welcome to the Movie Cheer Podcast, the show for movie fans. I'm your host, AP, aka Mr. Movie Cheer, and on today's edition of Movie Cheer Pod, I will be discussing, it will be a big Star Wars discussion, big Star Wars movie discussion, really, with the big announcements this past week from Star Wars Celebration that we are getting 3 new Star Wars movies. I will be digging deep into them on today's headline topic and doing a big deep dive discussion on Star Wars, the Star Wars franchise as a whole, where it's at right now, where it's going in the future, what do I think on that. So that is going to be today's headline topic, ladies and gents. But before we get to today's headline topic, we're going to start off the show with a segment called What's Been on the Screen.
What's been on the screen? The screen. What's been on the screen?
What's been on the screen? What have I been watching over the past week, ladies and gents? I tell you what, I've actually been watching a ton of movies this week. I've been off from my day job this week, the Movie Cheer Town Cinema, and I've been having just a absolute blast just watching all the movies and just I had this week off. I said I was going to watch some TV shows. I didn't get around to watching the TV shows. I wanted to binge some House of the Dragon and stuff like that. I didn't get to that, but I watched a few movies. And the first movie I'm going to speak about is a fresh, brand new watch. These are all new watches for me. Roadhouse, starring Patrick Swayze, Sam Elliott. 1989 this movie was released, Roadhouse. Synopsis of Roadhouse, basically Patrick Swayze's character is this guy called Dalton. He's this hard-as-nails guy, kind of like a mysterious figure, but he runs the he's like the head guy who runs security on all of these nightclubs. And he's running this nightclub at the start of the movie. He gets recruited by this guy who's bought this really dingy club, and he wants to get the security upgraded, and he brings in Dalton to run security, and he wants it to become this really high-end nightclub in the end. And basically it's Dalton, Swayze's character, goes in there, and it's just there's bar fights, there's everything you can think of is going on in this bar. You've got the house band for this bar, who I must say the band in that movie are awesome. They've got this house band playing throughout. I don't know if it's a known band. I think it did say performed by this certain band, so it must be a real band. And the guitar player in this, I don't know if the guy is actually blind in real life, but he plays blues. It's like a blues band. I really love the music in this for that reason, with all the blues music, rock and roll and the blues music. But this guy, he's playing guitar, and he's blind. I've never seen that before. I've obviously seen the likes of Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder. I thought it was absolutely amazing. I don't know if I'm sure he probably is, because it wouldn't make sense to why they would kind of fade out in a movie. But that's kind of moving away from that. That is the music creating it, but the story is really good. So you got this Dalton guy. He goes to this new town trying to make the nightclub a better security. He gets rid of a load of staff members. But then you've got this other story mixed in there, where you've got this sort of this guy who runs the town. He's this super rich guy who is going around. He's kind of like a crime boss for the town. He's asking them all for money, and he's the true big villain that Dalton must conquer by the end of this movie. And yeah, it's a solid movie. Really enjoyed it. First time watch. I kind of wanted to watch this for the first time because I know they're doing a remake with Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor, the UFC fighter, doing a Roadhouse remake. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to watch this because I know it's been mentioned a few times. Heard it mentioned, Roadhouse. I think I remember hearing, I think Keith from Euphoria Pictures did a video on Roadhouse a while. I'm pretty sure Keith did a video on one of the more recent, I think it was the 4K release. And I think he enjoys that movie. But Yeah, really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really fun movie. The fight scenes are really fun. There's a lot of explosions in this movie. I was watching this though. I kind of thought Dalton, the Patrick Swayze character, he's such a mysterious figure. It's like, what is his background? Was he like an ex-army guy? They don't really go into that in too much detail, and I kind of like that mystery to it because he feels like it's kind of like he's a bit more of like he's like a Rambo, but like a bit more social than Rambo in this movie. This guy is like he is just a badass. He is a really good fighter. He does all like these sort of different martial arts and stuff, and yeah, the fight scenes are really really good. Especially there's one at the end of the film I really enjoy, but it's a cracking movie, Roadhouse. I really enjoyed it. It's a good watch. Next up, I watched Nicolas Cage movie Pig, and this came out in 2021. Now, I heard a lot about this Pig. I think I heard a few things. I think I remember Pete Playtendo guy. I'm pretty sure they on one of his streams maybe last year they were mentioning this movie, and this is where I first heard of it. And so Nicolas Cage, Pig, and this felt like it was in the revival of his. He's had a lot of these revival movies over the past few years. Nicolas Cage coming back into the limelight of acting. I really do enjoy Nicolas Cage's movies. In this movie, basically, he plays a truffle hunter, and he's out in the wild, out in the wilderness, and he is, he's going out looking for truffles, and he has this pig what helps him to find the truffles. And basically, this is not spoiling the movie. Early on in the movie, his pig gets stolen at night and he gets attacked. And then the story is he's got to go and find his pig, his prize pig. And the reason why it's not so much he loves this pig because there's a lot of emotional attachment, and you find out that throughout the movie, he just adores this pig, and you see a bit more of his backstory as well. And it's a really good story. And I kind of I was watching this. I didn't know what to expect going in. All I heard is it was a good movie, and I thought, let's give it a watch. And I watched it, and I was kind of like surprised by the movie I saw because it's not like an action violent movie. There is some violence in there, but you're watching it, and I felt like I was watching this movie, and I felt like we were going to get to a point where it was going to turn into like a John Wick type movie, because it felt like it had John Wick vibes without the action scenes of John Wick. And if you've watched this movie, you'll probably understand that and kind of get out what I'm saying here. It felt at times like it was going to go into like a John Wick fight scene, but you never got the fight scene. And but it was a really gripping movie, and really a movie that like really sucks you in. I thought it was just a solid movie from Nicolas Cage. Not really a Nicolas Cage like role. Not like it wasn't like Nicolas Cage being super charismatic. He was quite a withdrawn character. But I will say, fantastic, performance from him, and a great cast all around. One scene in particular really just just zapped me in. Just this particular scene, he goes to so basically it turns out his character is this ex-top chef in the town in this, I think it's in Portland, I think it's set. And basically he went into hiding, he went into the forest to then just be this truffle hunter, give up all like the chef game. And you see him go to this restaurant, and he's trying to get more details on where his pig is. And he's got like this chaperone guy who's helping him find the pig. And in this restaurant, it's one of his students, and he knows who he is, and he's like treating him like this god, like Nicolas Cage's character. And what's funny is he's just basically coming from being beaten up after his pig's been captured and kidnapped from him, or pignapped. And he's got blood all over his face. He's got like long hair. He looks like Father Christmas. He's just beaten up, and he goes in this like high end restaurant, and he's sitting there and he's waiting to speak to the chef, who he knows, and he's like covered in blood, and the guy like just points out like, do you need a medical assistance? And he's like, no, I'm fine. And he's got blood like gushing out his head, and it's just like that first all that bit just cracked me up, because I thought it was just like, I like the fact that they took notice of the fact this guy is obviously not look in the best of shape. He looks like he's been beaten up. But second of all, then it goes into this really great scene where Nicolas Cage's character kind of says to this guy, like, why are you running this sort of restaurant? You wanted to run a pub, and you're kind of doing this because, like society says you have to do this, and you're not doing what you love. And it's like a 1 minute scene or 2 minute scene, just pure dialogue, intense dialogue, and it's just such a great scene. Check out that scene if you maybe you've got no intention of watching this movie, but check out that scene alone. It was just really a solid scene. It gave me like Good Will Hunting vibes. With the acting was just spot on, absolutely spot on. But yeah, Pig, great movie. I really enjoyed it, and a really good Nicolas Cage film. Next, I watched another movie here. It's movie galore today. I watched first time watch Law Abiding Citizen, and this was a movie I've heard about for a while. It was a 2009 movie starring Jamie Foxx and Gerard Butler. And this is, talking about a movie, Pig didn't have so much violence. This movie definitely did. It's basically, the story is, I won't spoil it too much because I think it's one of those movies where if you spoil it, it's just like, this is a movie that's gone for you then. So basically, Gerard Butler's character early on in the movie, at the very start of the movie, his character, his family, his wife and his kid, the house is broken into, and his wife and his kid are murdered. And then the two guys who did the act, I think they go to prison. One of them gets out early, and they don't get justice. He doesn't get justice for the murder of his wife and his daughter. And we see it like 10 years later in the story, and then basically the guy gets kidnapped. One of the guys has been released who murdered his wife and his daughter, and he, gets taken by Gerard Butler's character. And then there's this big thing where he is now trying to take out all of the justice system who he feels failed his wife and daughter in letting these men go free. And basically, Jamie Foxx's character is a lawyer in this, and he's like dueling with Gerard Butler's character throughout this movie. But it's such a really 10 out of 10 solid movie. It's kind of like a crime thriller, this one. And it was one where I'm just watching it, and I thinking what I thought, like, there was a moment through the movie where I thought I knew what was going on, and I thought there was like this certain person was involved, and then I was like, I know what's going on here, and then I was just like, no. If at the end I'm like, I got it wrong, I didn't have a clue what was going on. This is a really good screenplay, a really good movie. The action scene, it's quite violent at first. Like, there's some scenes early on in the movie, but I suppose it's one of those where it kind of leans into the violence is more in your imagination. It doesn't show you as much, but there is some scenes where you're like, wow, this isn't great. But a really gripping story, a gripping movie, and Jamie Foxx and Gerard Butler are both superb in this film. Really, a really good one. I'm really glad I watched it. This was on my list. I say it on the pod, if you're a regular viewer, that I now have a list this year now where I've been noting down every new movie, and I've been giving it like a thumbs up out of 5. And I've not had a 4-star one yet. I've not had a 5-star. This was a 3-star movie for me. This was spectacular. There's been only a few this year, like Baby Driver was another one. Law Abiding Citizen, I'm pretty sure I put this as a 3-star. This is a solid movie, well worth checking out. If you like action, crime thrillers, probably say more of a crime thriller actually than an action movie. It's a solid film, really solid film. I'm going to get to one last movie that I watched this past week, and it is Last Night in Soho, 2021 release, the Edgar Wright movie. Edgar Wright, obviously well known for doing Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, World's End. I'm a big fan of like Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. They are superb comedies. And Baby Driver was one, like I said, I watched this earlier on this year, and it was the first time watched for that, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was fantastic, a fantastic film. So Last Night in Soho was one I've heard of for a while. I didn't manage to watch it at the cinema at the time. I had no idea what it was about. And that's a joy sometimes, to go into a movie and not knowing what it's about, no idea of spoilers, what the story concept is, just going in blind. And I went in for this movie not reading into any of it, and just, it was an absolute treat of a movie. I must say it was a very weird movie though. And I think I put a post out this past week on Instagram after I watched it to see what anyone had thought of this movie. I didn't get any feedback on that, but what I kind of really wanted to say was, is this movie a brilliant movie, or is it just a really weird movie where I'm just like, this is really weird and unique, that I like it for that reason because it's really unique and weird? Or is it just a genuine brilliant movie? Or am I overthinking this? Does it really matter? Does it matter which one it is? Or is it both in the same? I deep stuff here, deep stuff on the movie chip pod. But it was like it's described online as psychological horror, and basically, without spoiling the story too much, you have this girl who is set in current times. She's a young girl. She's going to uni for the first year, doing fashion degree in London. And then she gets a bed sit in Soho. But it's revealed earlier on in the movie that, her mum died years ago and she can see ghosts. She can see her mum. So she has connections. She can see people who are dead. She goes to this bed sit and then she gets transformed into 1960s Soho. And she is kind of like living the life, but also, she's kind of like seeing the life of this singer, upcoming singer, or she wants to be a singer, Sandy Shaw, played by Anna Taylor-Joy, and it stars Matt Smith as well. And basically, there is then a murder committed in the 1960s, and everything happening then was real. She basically can see the past. She's seen visions of the past, and she also has a connection to it as well. This girl set in current times, and she sees a murder being committed in this story, and I don't think that's spoiling it too much because I'm not really revealing too much more. But then she basically then has to kind of like find out who is committed the crime, and it all kind of mixes in with the past and the future, and then there's some weird concepts and weird twists and turns, and man, it is at the end of the movie, I was like, I didn't feel like it was like a on level with like a Baby Driver or Shaun of the Dead, but I did think it was a really enjoyable movie and a very unique story, which I really liked as well. So yeah, solid film. I really enjoyed. I wouldn't say I'm like a big fan of like 1960s music, but in this movie, they had a lot of like UK. So I think there was like a lot of like Dusty Springfield, Cilla Black. I think there was some Cilla Black songs in there. I think Cilla Black actually features in this, like someone playing a young Cilla Black in the 1960s. Anna Taylor-Joy, I've not really seen her in that many movies, but she was really great in this. Matt Smith was good in this as well. But yeah, it was an interesting one. But I went away and I thought, it was one of the movies where I'm like, what did I really see here? What sort of movie was this? Was it, like I said, was it enjoyable, or was it just like really weird that I just thought that's just like a unique story idea concept, and it's, for that it gets a thumbs up. It still, in my mind now, I'm still thinking like, how do I feel about that movie? But you got to give it to Edgar Wright. I think he's, apart from World's End was a bit hit and miss, I'll be honest. That was the only one where I thought, it's not great. The rest of his movies, though, have always been solid, and he's a superb director, and a great cast, great movie. Like I said, maybe this is one where I need to watch again to really settle my opinion whether this is a really, really good movie or just like an average, decent movie. But yeah, I enjoyed it, though. Definitely enjoyed it. Very entertaining. But yeah, that's what's been on the screen this past week. Let's move on to today's headline topic.
The Movie Cheer Podcast presents the headline topic for the episode.
Remember to spread a bit of
headline topic. Headline topic.
Remember to spread a bit of movie cheer.
So today's headline topic, Star Wars, big movie discussion, big discussion about the franchise as a whole with the most recent announcements from Star Wars Celebration 2023 this past week. Yesterday if you're watching this on the Saturday. So it was announced yesterday that three big announcements, they're going to make three brand new Star Wars movies. I'm going to say the movies and what they're about, and then we're going to dig deeper into them. So first of all, Daisy Ridley will be returning as Rey Skywalker from the new sequel trilogy in a movie called Star Wars: A New Jedi Order. And I imagine a lot of these names could be subject to change, these titles. That was announcement number one. Announcement number two is James Mangold, who is the director of the new Indiana Jones movie, Dial of Destiny. He did Logan, Wolverine, The 3:10 to Yuma, Copland, I think he did that as well. He's done absolutely tons of movies. The Johnny Cash biopic a few years back as well. Really, really talented director. He will be directing a Dawn of the Jedi, which is a movie set 25,000 years before Phantom Menace. So it's going to be how the Jedi became and the origin story of the Jedi. That's the second big announcement. And the third big announcement is Dave Filoni, who is, big on the animated side of things, and now he's directed a load of The Mandalorian. He's directing the Ahsoka TV show. He created that character, I believe. He will be directing a movie for Lucasfilm, and it will be a culmination of the Mandoverse. So the characters like the Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Boba Fett. It's likely that a lot of those characters would be featured in this movie, and they've not said whether it's going to be called the Mandalorian movie or it's going to have some sort of title, but that is going to be his movie, like a Mandoverse movie they are doing. So they are the three big announcements. And I will say as well, the Rey movie, the Rey Skywalker movie, Star Wars New Jedi Order, is going to be set 15 years after the rise of Skywalker, and they've not actually said that it's going to be called Star Wars Episode 10. So it kind of feels like the kind of walking away from the Skywalker saga and the numbered episode movies and just kind of going this is just Star Wars. This is Star Wars New Jedi Order rather than Star Wars Episode 10. So first of all, let's talk about that announcement of the Rey Skywalker return. I didn't mind the character. I think it started off well, and then it kind of just got a bit, I don't know, it just kind of got a bit boring with that character, Rey Skywalker. But I did like the ending. I like the fact, she takes on the name Skywalker in the end. I suppose the word I was looking for, predictable. It felt a bit predictable, and, making her the granddaughter of Palpatine. It just didn't feel like anything fresh. It was just so it's just another lineage story here with the Skywalker saga, and I think that just last movie just didn't live up to what we all wanted as fans. I didn't mind it. It just wasn't for me. It wasn't like the Endgame level movie we were kind of all expecting, was it really, for Episode 9? But they're going to do this new one, New Jedi Order, Daisy Ridley returning 15 years after the rise of Skywalker. We haven't got a release date on this movie yet, but I feel like this is going to be a good, fresh idea. I think, first of all, like I said, stepping away from the episode titles, not that it's a big thing. I do think it's nice that now they're kind of just saying, excuse me, it's not saying this is like a direct sequel to the Rise of Skywalker. This is like its own movie. And it's like now they can just build movies upon the future of the Skywalker saga, but not have it so much tied to that Skywalker saga with them characters, and do a new fresh story. So I suppose here you have that time jump as well is pretty significant, because now you tell a story 15 years later after the First Order is destroyed. Palpatine, the Emperor, is finally gone, we all think anyway. And now you've got this new Jedi Order that's being built, a bunch of new Jedis. It feels like a fresh slate, really, with this movie. And sure, it'll be interesting to see whether we get more of them characters from that sequel trilogy returning. I mean, you could get Kylo Ren in there, maybe as a Force Ghost potentially. You could, I mean, Poe Dameron, Oscar Isaac, John Boyega. I suppose there's plenty. Mark Hamill could return as well, but do you want to really tie it too much to them? I think for me, the idea would be to just go in a fresh new direction and not have too much ties to the sequel trilogy, because they kind of done that now. They've done that with having like the returning cast members of the OG trilogy, and I still love them characters, but I think you've now got to move the ship forward for us Star Wars fans to enjoy it, because I think we were all saying after Force Awakens, I love that movie, but I think a lot of people were saying it's just a copy of A New Hope, and I totally get that. I understand why people would say that. And the other two movies were just hit and miss. They've got to go in a new direction now. Give us something fresh, give us something different. Give us a really unique story that's not kind of just like your average Star Wars story. Give us like a Last Night in Soho movie in a Star Wars universe. That's the sort of story. Do you know what I mean? It's a really unique just story that has never been told in Star Wars before. Give us that sort of story and something fresh. So that's what I would like to see. I mean, I suppose the possibilities as well here, which I've seen discussed on Reddit and different YouTube comments, is whether we'll get like a grown-up Grogu featuring in this movie. I'll be honest with you, I don't really want to see grown-up Grogu in this first one. I think it's just, I don't know, I feel like they're just doing it to sell merchandise if they feature him right there. Maybe have him in a sequel to that movie a bit further down the line, but you don't have to throw it all in on this first movie. Let's build some other characters up, make some more interesting characters before you just go and put Grogu in there, which is, I get it, it's like a fan choice. I think a lot of fans would love to see that. But I think there's room to, we don't have to throw everything in this first new movie. So the next one I want to discuss is the, what was the other one? It was, I've got it wrong, wrote down now, James Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi. Now this is an interesting one again. When I talk about a fresh slate, this is literally a blank slate completely, because he gets to tell the origin of the Jedi and how they became to be, and it's set 25,000 years before the first Star Wars movie. So I can't wait to see what the galaxy looks like 25,000 years ago. How do they depict it? How do they, is it like a society that's well built? Is it a society that's maybe just like really not developed yet? It's going to be very interesting to see. I think they've got the right guy to do it, because I think he's a solid director, James Mangold. I've not really seen a James Mangold movie that I dislike, so I'd be shocked to see him direct a really bad movie. The only thing that really has me just question marks here, he's doing the Swamp Thing movie for DC Comics. And we've seen it so many times before where that big time directors have been announced for Star Wars movies. Rian Johnson, his kind of Star Wars movies feel like they fell through now. The guys from Game of Thrones, they were another one. Was it Patty Jenkinson, the Wonder Woman director? That kind of has went quiet now. Is this going to actually happen? Are we going to get this Dawn of the Jedi movie? I hope we do, because I think it would be really good to see. And the fact that it's set so many years, thousands of years before Phantom Menace, really just gives you, a creative choice to do anything. And if they do give him the pencil to say, just, go crazy, do what you want to do, I think it would be a really cool movie. So I honestly don't know what to expect. I mean, is it just going to be like a story where we see the origins of the Force? We see the first few Force users. Are they sort of like seen as superheroes in this galaxy? And then we see some that kind of like drift to the Sith. And then we see the start of the Sith. It's going to be such an interesting story to see. And I honestly, for me, that movie, I just want to see, I'm interested to see what the world is like 25,000 years ago in Star Wars, how they sort of like visualize that and make the locations. So that's really going to be a very interesting movie to see. And I can't wait to see it. It's going to be great. And I also think now, because I know they had like the element of time travel in the Star Wars Rebels show, or was it? I think it was Rebels or Clone Wars. They could definitely pull some of them characters if they really become fan favorites. They could use that element of time travel in future to bring some of them characters further, ahead in the timeline of Star Wars, which would be very, very interesting as well. So the final, movie I want to discuss is the Mandoverse movie from Dave Filoni. As he said, I think he said it's like going to be a culmination of the Mandalorian, and it's kind of, bring to the end of the Mandalorian. So it feels like now we're maybe getting in the home stretch for the Mandalorian. Maybe we only get one more season or two more seasons tops. I think 5 seasons would be a good mark, really. I think this season has been a bit hit and miss. I enjoyed this past week's episode, even though it got a lot of criticism over the casting of like Jack Black. There was a female actor, actress? Was she a musician? I can't even remember her name, but I didn't know she was a musician. I didn't know who she was. Was it Grizzo or something like that? Grizzo. I forget what her name was. Who played the Duchess in this episode. I thought she was fine. I had no issue with Jack Black being featured. Christopher Lloyd, I thought it was fine. It didn't bother me at all, and I enjoyed the episode. But the previous episodes have been not great. I don't think it's been awful, but it's not been the best season of The Mandalorian so far. But the idea that they're doing a Mandalorian Mandoverse movie is very exciting. I think it's a superb idea. And I'm sure I mentioned something like this the other week, saying like having like a movie, if they, finish off the Mandalorian show, but then leave room to do a movie would be fascinating to see. Super entertaining to see, I'm sure. And this has surely got to feature the likes of Ahsoka, Boba Fett. It's your main villain's got to be Thrawn, I imagine, in this movie, unless they bring in another villain as well. But you could even feature Luke Skywalker with the de-aging technology in this. There is so many opportunities here, and I think Dave Filoni is just a mad Star Wars fan, and giving him this will be his first ever live-action movie, his first ever directed movie as well. He's only just started getting into live-action directing. To do that is a big step, but I think he has got a massive passion for Star Wars, and for me, the fact that he is, he's created the Rebels show and he's had his hand in that for years. He is obviously a super Star Wars fan, and I feel like this movie is just going to be a pure fan delight, whatever they do, because we don't know what the direction is. I feel like you've got to go with it being a Mandalorian movie at heart, but then you have like the Ahsoka, the Boba Fett, and they're all taking on Thrawn. I think that's got to be the movie. This is going to be like the end game for a lot of these Star Wars TV show side of things. But it could even be the starting point to maybe another trilogy set in the Mandoverse. It's so exciting. And I'll be honest, this is the project I am most excited about out of these three. I'm really excited for all of them, but this is the one I'm really excited for. I think it's going to be great to see. I'm really interested to see what direction they go with, and just to see how they feature the different characters. Is it going to be like an Avengers team up where they, each character really gets the time in the spotlight acting wise, and they get to perform? I hope they do. But this brings me to the most recent. The Ahsoka trailer came out this week as well at Star Wars Celebration. I thought that was great. But what could be the game changer here out of all these projects? I honestly think the game changer is the Mandoverse movie. I really do, because I think they're obviously now they're incorporating more of them animated characters with the Rebels characters coming in. This could be a game changer, because if this is a really hugely popular movie and you bring in a lot of these characters who are kind of still unknown to a lot of people, myself included, if this movie does really well and the characters become more beloved with the audiences, then you have like this, you could do more like, spin-off movies. You could do an Ahsoka spin-off movie. You could do more of these movies, and it kind of like, it feels like they're taking a bit of direction from Marvel here, where they did it with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Then they're doing the new Captain America movie. It's like testing the water with the TV shows, and then if they do a movie, maybe then they branch off into more Star Wars movies. But to me, then that becomes your main line Star Wars universe, your bread and butter of Star Wars, because there's a lot of characters set in that current timeline period of the Mandoverse, which people absolutely love on the TV side of things. And if it can translate to movies and it does well at the box office, that just, it creates this new Star Wars movie universe where you've got this new, fresh, because they're all fresh characters. A lot of these are just going into live action for the first time, and it's so great. And this is where I think this is going to be the best. Look, there's a blank slate with all the other projects they're doing, but this one, you've got these freshly new developed characters already, and to give them a movie is a big shot in the dark, but it could pay off. It could be another solo movie. It could be, a huge, massive box office breaking movie. I'm just really interested to see what direction they go in. Who is featured in this movie? I can't wait to hear more about this. I think out of these 3 projects to go forward, I can see the Daisy Ridley one definitely moving forward, and the Mandoverse movie for sure. Dawn of the Jedi, hopefully that will move forward as well, and it does actually get made. But yeah, I think that movie is going to be an absolute game changer for Star Wars if it's successful. But yeah, overall, these announcements, I am absolutely excited. As a fan of Star Wars, I think this is the right direction. I've been enjoying what they've been doing with this TV show side of things. I think with Star Wars as well, Andor has been, and they had Andor, they had the Obi-Wan show. It feels like they've not come out as much as the Marvel shows. I may be wrong, maybe just the way it feels, but Marvel feels like they just pushed too much on TV at first, and it was just a bit too mixed. The content, I think, like She-Hulk I enjoyed, and there's some other shows in there, like was it WandaVision? That was very mixed for me. I didn't really like that. Star Wars, I feel like they've got it right so far with the TV projects. They've all been fairly solid in my opinion, and they've not kind of just thrown everything out there. I think they've been a bit more self-control with the releases, and I think that's been a good idea for Star Wars. And I think what would be wise as well now with the Star Wars movies, take another leaf from Marvel. Don't release like 3 or 4 movies a year. Just do a Star Wars movie every 2 years or 3 years and kind of keep it low-key and leave that want for a Star Wars movie. Because I think if you do it every year, then it just becomes then, it's another Star Wars movie. You've got to create that eagerness to watch it for us fans. And I honestly don't mind waiting a few years to see the next Star Wars movie, because it builds up more anticipation and more eagerness to watch that movie. And they've really, hopefully all these projects do happen, because they've really announced some really exciting projects here with this Star Wars celebration. And at this current time, watching Star Wars as a whole, Sure. Look, there is some hit and misses with The Mandalorian this season, but I feel like they're building up the larger story, which is obviously setting the wheels in motion for this potential Mandoverse movie now. Which, well, I say potential. It's it's set in stone. They're going to do this movie, so it's I can understand why some of the episodes have been more like building the universe episodes now. It makes more sense to why they're doing that. So I am absolutely excited as a Star Wars fan. I am just ecstatic at the moment and really pumped, and this is what being a Star Wars fan is about: the excitement, the magic of the Star Wars universe. Going into watching an episode of The Mandalorian, going to see a Star Wars movie and just being mystified by the story and just sucked in by this story of this universe that is just completely different from what we have. It's just over the top, and I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to see these projects on the big screen. I think it's going to be amazing to see. But that is it for today's headline topic. Let's move on to Case Cover Collision.
Case covers take on other case covers. Can you handle that?
Case Cover Collision. Case Cover Collision.
Case Cover Collision. Each and every week I choose a different movie and look at the different case covers for that movie and put them up against each other on Case Cover Collision to find out which one is the best. Now, this week on the show, I will be looking at the new Super Mario Brothers movie. The cases for that movie, we've got the 2 4K releases and the DVD one, which was also the cover for the Blu-ray as well. So let's get to it. I must say as well, I've not watched the movie as of yet. I'm really excited to see this movie, but here in the UK at this moment in time, It is the Easter holidays, and I do not want to go to a cinema that is jam-packed, full of kids just shouting and throwing popcorn. And I want to, when I go and watch a movie, I just want to chill out and just have, a bit more of a calming viewing experience. And, sit in a cinema, which is, it's going to be kids are going to be going and seeing this with the families and stuff like that. I'd rather go when it's a bit quieter. So maybe I'll watch it either when the holidays are over, when all the kids are back in school, or I'll be watching this when it gets released, because it'll be released before you know what this movie. But I'm really excited to see it. I think the trailers have all been amazing, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the Super Mario Brothers movie. But we have got these case covers to look at, and let's go and look at them. So first of all, we're going to start off with the Super Mario Brothers 4K, standard 4K cover. And this cover is very minimalistic, very simple design, but let's look at it. So we got this, it is I think it's a steelbook, I'm pretty sure as well. I'm pretty sure it's a steelbook, this one. It looks like a steelbook. It's just a black cover. This is like taking a leaf out of Spinal Tap, isn't it? With the the black album cover. Pure black cover, and then in the middle of it, you've got the animated mushroom. You're looking at, that's Mario, isn't it? It's not Mario, but I mean, that's a symbol of Mario. You see that and you think, oh, Mario. I think if you play the video games. So they went for a really simple design of just the mushroom that you collect in the, if you play the video games as a kid, you get the mushroom, you get bigger. And it's super simple, but I gotta be honest, I do like this design. I love this design, actually. I think it's really good. I think the only thing I would say is, watching this, I would have went for maybe just something a bit lighter instead of black, because I always think black is like a very, it looks like a horror movie. It's just like, it doesn't look very Mario-like, really, because I think Mario, like bright colours, rainbows, a bright colourful universe when you're playing the video games, like blues, greens, yellows. I don't kind of think black background and then mushroom. I think maybe just putting some colour in there as well would have been good to see. But at the same time, I do like the visual of just the mushroom in there. It's like so simple and so like kind of lazy in a way, but it's also so smart, because you look at that and you just think, yeah, you don't need it. It's like kind of saying, this covers to me saying, we don't need to show anything else in the background. It's just a blank slate. Let's just put a black background and show the mushroom. We know it is Mario. So you've got this like red and white mushroom here, classic Mario mushroom. I like the Super Mario 4K cover. I think it's really good. I think it's a really solid cover, that one. Next, we go to this Super Mario Brothers 4K limited edition set. Now, this is kind of a bit of a different case cover, this, because it's kind of like more of a box than a case cover, because you get included in this set one of the stars, from the video games, the stars with the eyes on it. It's got like eyes on it, this yellow star, animated star, and then you've got like in the back of that, you've got the cover of the posters within the movie, the Mushroom Kingdom behind that. And it is like a massive box, this case cover. It's obviously inside, and you've got like a steelbook case cover of the star. But I'm going to look at the actual box of this. So yeah, like I said, you've got the star on the front, which is inside the box then. And then you've got the Mushroom Kingdom in the right side of it. Above that, you've got this exclusive limited edition logo of in a blue text, big blue bold text in like this silver box around it. And below that, this edition is called the Power Up Edition. So below that, on the bottom of it, it says Power Up Edition plus collectible tin star. To the left of that, you've got like the poster of the Super Mario Brothers. You've got like Bowser, Luigi, Mario, Princess Peach in there as well. All the main characters. This is, to me, it looks like a video game box. It looks like the box for a SNES. It looks like a really, like a big classic movie, not classic movie box, classic video game box. And this is something you could not put on it. I mean, you would need a shelf of its own for this, because you could not put this on a DVD shelf, on a movie shelf, because it's massive. But I think there'll be a lot of fans of the movie, collectors, who will be buying this limited edition box. I think for fans of Mario, this Power Up Edition is going to be great, because loads of people are just going to want that, the limited edition star of the Mario movie in the movie room. I think it'll look great, and just having this tin where you open this tin then, and you've got the movie inside. Look, the artwork isn't mind blowing, but it's cool. For me though, so far the standard 4K case cover is the best. I think there's just so much going on in this one where you're just like, it's more for me just to sell the star, the power up star, rather than sell the movie. It's selling the object, the special edition tin, rather than selling the movie itself. It's the collectible rather than the actual movie. So I think the 4K so far is the best one. Now let's go to the final case cover of today's episode, and we are looking at the Super Mario Bros. DVD case cover. Now, this DVD case cover uses the poster that was used mainly in the marketing for this movie, and it is the poster of the back of Mario. You see, this was like the teasers they put out before we saw the first initial trailers, and you get Captain Toad in there, who's like giving Mario a tour around the Mushroom Kingdom for the first time. We see the back of Mario's hat, his head, and we see him looking up at the palace where Princess Peach is, and we see the whole of the Mushroom Kingdom. And like I said, this is to me what the 4K case was kind of lacking. The colour, the vibrancy, just the world of the Mushroom Kingdom, the world of Super Mario. This is what I wanted to see. And you see in the centre, above Mario's head, the Super Mario Brothers movie logo, and in the Mario Brothers section, where it's in that font of like the classic Mario font as well, in red, green, yellow, and blue, all different colours matched in there. At the top of this cover, you've got the palace, and then you can see the sky. It's a nice blue sky, and then you've got a lot of greenery and all the shops and all of the town within the Mushroom Kingdom. Like I said, this is bright, this is colourful, this is everything I would want in a Super Mario Brothers movie case cover. I think it's amazing. Absolutely love it. And I'm not even bothered with the fact they've just reused the poster. I think it's a perfect poster, and honestly, this is a poster I think would look great in any movie room, because I think if you like video games and if you like movies, this is the poster you want to get, because it's a superb poster. So the winner of Case Cover Collision this week is the Super Mario Brothers DVD case cover. I think it is the best one. I think the minimalistic one of the 4K is great as well, but it was lacking the colour and the vibrancy, what I wanted in a Super Mario Brothers movie trailer cover, case cover. The limited edition set was just not, for me, a case cover. It was just more selling the actual collectible tin. But this DVD case cover, it's just got all the colour you need. It's bright, it looks family friendly, it looks like what you would want to see a Mario movie case cover to be. I think it's great. I think they did great work on the artwork here. I love the direction of this movie, the visual direction, and I can't wait to see the film as well. So that is the winner of this week's edition of Case Cover Collision. Now let's move on to the next segment of today's show.
The Amazon Top 10 is approaching. Prepare yourself. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Amazon Top 10 has arrived.
The Amazon Top 10. Each and every week, I give you the Amazon bestsellers list for DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4Ks on Amazon.co.uk. And now, this week, let's look at the top 10. Let's start off with number 10. At number 10, we have John Wick Chapter 4, the 4K lenticular cover. Case cover set. So that is really cool. I'll have to, maybe a future case cover collision for the John Wick Chapter 4. Lenticular covers are awesome. I've got a few in the collection, and I think they're great covers. At number 9, we have A Man Called Otto on DVD. At number 8, we have, as mentioned on Case Cover Collision, the Super Mario Bros. Power Up Edition, the the collectible tin of that movie. That's at number 8, and I believe that is actually sold out on Amazon at this moment in time. So that is obviously sold a lot of units this past week on Amazon.co.uk. Number 7, we have John Wick Chapter 4 Limited Edition Collector's Edition 4K. A big collector's edition of John Wick Chapter 4. I've still not seen that movie, but that is obviously selling big in the top 10 this week. At number 6, we have Marvel Studios' Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, the Blu-ray of that movie. I enjoyed that movie. At number 5, we have, again, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, the 4K, standard 4K. At number 4, we have Roald Dahl's Matilda the Musical on DVD. At number 3, we have, again, John Wick Chapter 4, the Steelbook, 4K Steelbook of that movie. And at number 2, we have the Super Mario Brothers 4K. That's that, the tin, the black tin with the mushroom on the front. John Wick and Super Mario Brothers are really dominating the top 10 this week. It's going to be interesting to see how that develops over the next few weeks, whether they still are in that top 10 for a few weeks. I think they could be, potentially, definitely Super Mario Bros. And at number 1, we have Elvis on DVD. Still, sometimes it's went off the top spot, but then it's reclaimed it. Still, Elvis is a very popular movie, sitting at the top of the Amazon top 10 again. Now, let's move on to the final segment of today's show. So the final segment of today's show, Not So Worthy Blockbuster Housekeeping. This is the part of the show where I just discuss what's going on with the Movie Cheer Town community, what's going on within Movie Cheer Town, and it's just a general chit-chat at the end of the show to just calm us all down. Calm me down, definitely, because it's been an exciting show. But let's talk about, first of all, I'm going to talk about some of the latest comments on some of the recent videos on the YouTube channel. We have one on last week's video, was the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie one, and on that video also I did the Superman 2 on Case Cover Collision. And we've got a comment here from David Blackmore 1636, and David said, must agree the DVD cover is the best. I think it certainly is, David. DVD cover, Superman 2, superb. And as for Power Rangers, I've never really been a fan of this franchise. And you know what? That's fine, David. I think, you know what? There's a lot of franchise out there that I have not watched yet, or maybe I just, not every franchise is for everyone. That is cool with me, mate. But thank you very much for, leaving a comment, buddy. Like I said, Superman 2, that DVD cover was awesome, and David let me know some of the franchises he liked as well, which is cool. It's great to see comments on the videos, and we've got another one as well from Ben, aka Rider Rated 18, and Ben commented on the Should You Buy a DVD Player in 2023 video, and he said, I'm definitely going to be purchasing a new player that accommodates 4K, Blu-ray, and DVD. I'm still using my... Getting tongues out here. I'm still using a PS4, so I think it's time to get something that's more proper. As for a standard DVD player, it's astonishing how cheap they are. Back in 1999, 2000, they were close to £500. I think I said something similar to Ben in the comments about this. It is absolutely mad to think the DVD players were back, 20 years ago, they were that price, £400-500. I mean, they got cheaper and cheaper. I was kind of like, I was trying to remember the first DVD player I bought, and kind of my mind is getting, so I can't remember which one I bought first, because I remember having a PS2, which you could get a DVD player, you had the DVD player included as well, and but I also remember getting the first DVD player, so I can't remember which one came first. It's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? I honestly can't, my memory is a bit sort of faded on that, which one was the first, but I mean, they were expensive, and it's crazy to think now, but you get it now with like 4K players. If you want a really good 4K player, you're paying like £400 here in the UK. So you look at like the technology of like the modern game consoles, like PS5s, Xboxes, they are like $400-500. It is surreal, because you think now you can pick up a DVD player, like 50 quid maybe, brand new. So it as times have changed. But I just want to say thank you to both David and Ben for them awesome comments on the videos, and to everyone else who has commented as well on all of the recent videos. What else is going on in Movie Cheer Town? Whilst I'm going to say this, before I bring it up, the website, moviecheerpodcast.com, I do blog posts on there. I must say, guilty of not putting as many blog posts this year so far, 4 months into the year. It's something that I'm looking at to see what I can do differently, because I've just been lacking. That's me. That's on me personally. I'm going to take accountability for that, because I've just not got around to making blog posts. Just not been kind of like had the energy to do them, if I'm being quite honest. But I do want to use the website, and I'm going to look at something for the website, what we can make some changes, so there's always going to be regular content on there. So bear with me, I will get to that and get something going on with the website soon. But definitely check out the rest of the previous blog posts on the website if you've not been to the website before. Check it out, let me know your thoughts. Pay-per-view show. Ooh, another one. So last year we did it every third month. The 3rd, the 6th, the 9th, and the 12th month. I think we didn't do the 12th month because I wasn't feeling great. But I got sick in December. That was it. The mystery of it all. But this year, I mean, the 3rd month has gone now. Didn't do a pay-per-view show. The reason being is we had show 100 last month, and it was like the week after would have potentially been where we do like a pay-per-view show, and it felt like show 100 was like a pay-per-view show for me. It felt like I know it wasn't live, but I'm looking at maybe doing one this month or the month after. I think more leaning to this month, doing a pay-per-view live show at the end of the month. So we will do more of them on the Movie Cheer podcast. It's just like I said, I felt like the show 100 was such a great video, great podcast episode, and I thought we can't really top it with a live show would have been good, but for me that was the live show, that was the pay-per-view show for last month. But hopefully this month we'll do some pay-per-view shows. They're not forgotten about. More pay-per-view shows will come this year, I'm sure of it. But that's what's been going on in Movie Cheer Town this past week, and that is it for another episode of the Movie Cheer podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please do give it a like, and please do subscribe to the channel, to the podcast if you're not already subscribed. Leave a comment and leave a review if you listen to this on the podcast app as well. And let me know your thoughts on today's headline topic of the Star Wars movie announcements. What are your thoughts on these movie announcements? What are you most looking forward to seeing? How do you feel about Star Wars in general now? Do you feel like Star Wars is in a good place, or do you think it needs to improve a lot more? Let me know all your thoughts, Star Wars related, and let me know your thoughts on the rest of today's movie related topics. Which one was the case cover case cover that you chose as the best one out of the Super Mario Brothers movies? And what movies have you been watching over this past week? And what do you think of the movies I have been watching as well, ladies and gents? Let me know all your thoughts. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gents. Remember to spread a bit of movie cheer. And as always, I will see you next time.